Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 match here. I don't know why I started with that. Welcome to the ESL Pro Tour. I'm Nathanias, and you are watching some wonderful StarCraft 2 action on Sunday. Beautiful Sunday, Bloody Sunday, whatever, however that song goes. In the top right, this match being played live in the America's Weekly Cup. We have the Red Zerg player. You love her, you know her. She is Scarlett. Man, this is a matchup I've had the pleasure of doing so many times in WCS and WCS America and all that over the years. Always delivered back in the day. Absolutely always delivered. For some people, I know the stream had a few hiccups today. The puppy. We are using all of the bandwidth to upload pictures of the puppy online, so I apologize for that. Her opponent in the bottom left is the blue Terran. He is Polt. But it's only hiccuping for like a few seconds at worst, from what I've seen. Yeah. I am going to be moving somewhere with fiber internet this year, so hopefully the majority of those problems are all gone. Hopefully they're all gone and everything's working fantastically. And the hiccups were all done by the time we got into this game. Anyway, we kick it off on Eternal Empire. And already the first thing I'm just going to say, worth pointing out, Scarlett. She not going for the fastest possible type of cheese. And I only bring that up because I think one of the things that makes Scarlett such a good player, but also sometimes inconsistent, or you could say oftentimes inconsistent, it does happen, is she has really good aggressive builds. She's really good at being aggressive. She has phenomenal execution on certain types of cheeses and all-ins. And then sometimes she goes the other way. She got a really fast third before the Reaper could even be here. And I think that tells you really almost everything you need to know. Is Scarlett's very good at kind of heavily committing one way or the other, whichever way she wants to go. And I say that because typically it's not uncommon to see her do something like a really fast Lings with +1, even versus Terran. And it's one of her strengths that when you go up against Scarlett, she's not the player that you want to be always mega greedy against. Someone that you maybe want to SCV scout a little bit more than usual. But Polt has been doing pretty much one opener. And sometimes we get the battlecruiser variant of it, but at the same time, it still ends up being this really fast 3cc Reaper expand with Hellions straight into the bio with the stim and like a Liberator, or into the battlecruisers and then straight into the bio with stim after that. And basically, the way that Polt's been doing this is Hellions for map control. Makes a ton of sense, right? And of course, by poking the Zerg, you can not only sometimes kill the creep tumors and slow that down, but you can also get some damage done to the drones, which you've seen. Harkening back to the start of this tournament when Juggernaut Jason was able to get, like 30 odd drone kills against one of his opponents. Obviously, at this level, it's going to be harder to get those big plays because both of these players are so good, but we shall see. And look at that, Polt straight into the stem, getting the second barracks. There's no starport here. Polt doesn't need it. He's not thinking about it. He's not going to BC rush. He's like, I'm going to be crazy greedy. And we actually saw him do this already against, what's his face? Cham earlier. The one game, he went BC rush in one game, and in the other, he did this, where he kind of got these Hellions out. I think he still built a Liberator with that in that game. So this might be even more greedy. I think delaying the starport this much is a little bit greedy because it's very hard to hold all-ins. Even if you get stim this early in the game, he's only got like 4 Marines. But I think he's recognized that Scarlett not being crazy aggressive, not looking to be crazy aggressive, he can kind of take this greedy approach and set himself up in such a way that he can get his engineering bays early and do, I'm going to call this a soft 2-1-1 because that is what it is. He's got 2 barracks, stim and medevacs are still going to line up to do some pressure, but this isn't your standard Reaper expand straight into 2 barracks, 2-1-1 that you try to like kill a Zerg third base with, right? That's not what this is going to be. That build's been a little bit out of the meta for quite some time. So doing it off of the 3rd command center means, hey, With Stim Marines this early, by the time you're planting that third, if the Zerg's not being aggressive, you should be able to very safely take that third. Your Hellions are trying to give you map vision, and that's going to allow you to get the economy going super early. And then look at that, Polt Tiger, right? Just drop 3 more racks. I'm sure we'll see a tech lab soon on the factory to get siege tank production going. Polt, the only game that I've been able to see Polt play with Widow Mines in today was the one map where his battlecruiser rush ran into Mutalisks, and he's like, okay, you're gonna go fast mutas? I'll play mines. And he's actually not committing either way just yet. The tech lab starts now, but he could also be using it to get drilling claws if it comes to it. I think he expects it's gonna be something like Hydralisks, and that's why you want those tanks. Obviously, you can use siege tanks against Lingbane, but Widow Mines are generally more effective if there's mutas around because they can kill mutas. And siege tanks, very vulnerable to mutas, if we're being honest with ourselves. Very vulnerable. It's very, it feels very scary to siege up tanks and run bio in front of them when mutas can hit from the back. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason. When you get drilling claws and the mines are invisible, Polt did a really good job earlier in some of his matches of clearing out those overseers for not only the mines, but eventually the ghosts as well. So Scarlett doesn't have her Baneling speed yet. And that's making taking this base a little bit tricky because we got some Hellions to buffer. And whenever the armory finishes, if any Hellions are left, they're gonna become Hellbats. But he just put some pressure on and he forces a cancel on Scarlett's 4th. That's fantastic. Being able to be on the same number of bases as a Zerg opponent is huge. Now, the 1-1 is quite a bit further behind for Scarlett, unfortunately, because Polt can immediately start the 2-2 here. But now Baneling speed is done. I think Scarlett needs to wait for this next wave of links to really make the push that she wants. Actually, you know what? Getting most of the health on this medevac could make Polt move back. You really don't want to lose medevacs early on here. And big question on my mind, Scarlett doesn't have a Roach Horn or a Hydrogen. So, yeah. Oh my god, we're going to get Lingbane Muta, which means that Polt, at some point, when he realizes it, is probably going to make a nice little transition into, I would assume, Marine Mine. Oh my god. This is like flashbacks, man. Flashbacks. Polt versus Scarlett. Lingbane Muta versus Bio Mine. Pinch me, I'm dreaming. Well, this is a hell of a match to be able to cast here for the ESL Pro Tour NA Cup. Hell yeah. So there's the scan. Polt's trying to make his approach up here. The Hellbats ready to soak up a little bit of the sun and fun. Now the Mutas are looking for the flank opportunity for Scarlett. This Polt's got some forces working on the hatchery, but a huge trough of Lings is making its way over. Scarlett beginning to collapse on top of the Terran army, and Polt splitting the Marines off creep pretty effectively, I might add. But unfortunately, with the tanks picked off, the rest of the Lings and Banes are able to swallow up what's left. And that's really the strength of this composition, because you think to yourself, okay, we got rid of most of the front line. The tanks are dead. Load up and leave. But there's mutts, man. Mutalisks are fast, and boy, are they furious. So Polt, one thing that he's done very consistently, get the 4th command center during that move out, so he's ready to get his 4th base. And now I wonder, did Scarlett take enough damage that she can't try to do anything about the 4th? Because this really is not a scary amount of Mutalisks, right? She built a few. She only lost 2 of them, but the Mutalisks came out a little bit late relative to when the Spire started. Polt trying to get another missile turret up. Overseers, surprisingly tanky units, man. 200 health with 1 armor, baby. I love that. Smart Zerg players, like, always let that Overseer eat up a bunch of those shots, because that's enough damage to kill a Muta there. Without the armor, Mutas have 0 armor when they spawn by BT dubs. Would love to get something done on this planetary fortress. But one thing, look at what Scarlett's already done. Not only does she have great creep spread, which, you know, that's like, we always meme that about Scarlett, but she has the hive coming in. And when I think about this compared to the match versus TLO or Cham, Polt just, he's not out on the map at all. He hasn't been able to get out on the map. There's a little bit of that fear when there's Mutalisks roaming around. You have this slight hesitation that you don't want to run into the Mutalisks. And these guys they just poke the missile turret. They say, all right, are we making sure that Polt's in his base? Yep, Polt's in his base. And with this many Ling and Bane, right, we've got, what, 26 Banes going up to 40-ish, 78 Lings just on the map, ready to rock and roll. And when Polt, he has to scan to kill creep that's on his next base, rather than killing creep that allows him to attack his opponent. That hurts. So Big Daddy Thor gets dropped out. Widowmine's looking for a juicy shot on the Lings. It does get 14 Lings. Not bad. Mutalisk gets a big pot shot off on this army as well. And the Marines are going to stem forward. There we see the scan Polt. Just trying to clear the area. That one thing that we know Scarlett is so good at. She's got 8 queens. She's been working on those injects. I'm going to assume, yeah, no. Of course, Scarlett's still getting her larva while moving queens out on the map. Banelings with Lings coming to flank the planetary, getting it in the backside. The SCVs are on the run, and the Banes are going to be able to smite down that 4th command center. So Polt, wait, he doesn't have another command center even. Yeah, no, he has to just rebuild it. He's going to rebuild it on location, which is going to make it very vulnerable. Scarlett already planning her next attack with a massive flood of Lings going down the southeast corridor. Oh, this already looks ugly. Scarlett's going to shut down that 4th base easily. Polt's actually supply blocked because of the depots and the planetary that he lost, which is no bueno. Maybe Scarlett will free up some supply for him by killing some SCVs here. What a nice, wonderful person. She freed up so much supply by killing those SCVs. Now Polt can build Marines again. And Polt activates his secret supply depot skin as the army gets obliterated by the Mutaling Bane. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you think the Terran player is supposed to get an advantage by stretching the Zerg across the map? Scarlett's on some Cthulhu level, like 8 arms, just come at me, bruh. And it's mostly Marines against a ton of Banes. And it is off creep, so there's some good splitting potential here. But I think with the economy that Scarlett has been able to put together, Polt just really does not have enough steam right now, I think, to push forward off of this. Just a handful of Marines left after that fight. Did he get the mutas at least? A few of them? But Scarlett's already going into Broodlords. At this point in all of the other games that we got to see Polt play today, he already had a Ghost Academy and actually 4 Ghost Academies. But now he's going to be running up with some Biomine into Broodlords. There's 7 Broodlords coming out. And I know that Thors are overpowered right now, but that's usually only with mech. These Thors don't have upgrades. Also, it's not these Thors. It's a Thor. So Polt's going to try and load up. Can the creep see it? Can the creep see it? Oh, Scarlett. Spider sense is tingling. Oh, yeah, she's got changelings over there. How about that? Well, Polt's medevac will be able to slip in a little bit. These Lings are going to find the command center before it finishes morphing. And that's huge because the SCVs are starting to drop for Polt too. Command center has to lift at half health. Bio stimming all the way home. Does Scarlett have burrowed? Okay. I was ready for the sickest play of all time where she just burrows there as well. But the Greater Spire. Okay. Polt does manage to find something. I take it back. He found nothing. He gets to see the Greater Spire before his drop dies. And now there's 7 Broodlords pushing up on him. And he does not have what he needs to deal with 7 Broodlords. Theoretically, if the Marines can get under them, Marines can kill literally anything. But there's so many Banelings coming forward. The Widowmine not able to detonate on them. The Thor obliterated. The Marines are dying. And the Broodlords continue to brood. They get a little bit forward there, but the Lings are now being added to the support core. You have to be a little bit careful with how far you want to extend these. The Queens only have so much energy, but all of the Broodlords are still alive, and Scarlett begins to ring the bells as it starts to toll for Polt. His 4th base, barely mining his 5th, immediately gets forced back up after what seemed like he was going to get some momentum again. Those mines got good hits, but I don't think good is going to be enough anymore in this situation. Polt is broke as a joke. All he can do is crank out just Marines, but he needs more than that to deal with this army. There's so many... Okay, well, hey, getting in my face there a little bit, Mules, but are those Mules going to actually be able to get the time that they need to build the resources, to gather them? I'm not so sure. This command center is going to have to get lifted. It's burning on the dance floor. Polt's like, I'm going to throw 2 medevacs back to counterattack. There is just 1 spine crawler here, so maybe he gets damage done there, but I'm not entirely sure what he does to defend his base. And usually a nice big sign that you are in deep is building Vikings to defend against Broodlords. If you're trying to build a couple of Vikings at a time when your opponent's got what is it, 6? Did we kill one? Did we kill one? Yeah, 6 broodlords in your base. You're in trouble. I think, yep, there we go. There's the transfuse. And then the corruptors are going to show up because the Zerg player, because Scarlett's just taken so much of the map and had so much money, she can afford to build plenty of corruptors to come in behind. And that's what the Zerg player gets to do, is they can build so many of them at once if necessary. But 2 seem to be enough here. GG, Scarlett takes game number 1 against Polt in a dominating fashion.